All right, welcome. So before we can dive in and build all the cool generative AI projects we have in mind, we've got to do the groundwork. We need a really solid foundation, a proper project setup, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Build that Launchpad from scratch, step by step.
So if you're fired up and ready to start your journey with GenAI, then you are in the perfect spot. Because the real, lasting work, it actually starts with getting organized, way before you even think about writing a single line of code for your app.
And seriously, I can't stress this enough. A clean, structured, and honestly professional setup is the absolute key to making a project work. It's going to save you so many headaches later on, and it lets you focus on the fun stuff, the creative stuff. Okay, let's get into it. Here's the plan. First, we're going to build our project foundation. Then, we'll go out and gather all those super important API keys from the big players in AI. We'll have a quick upfront talk about costs, and then, at the end, we'll stand back and admire our fully prepped Launchpad.
Okay, first things first, we absolutely need a dedicated, clean workspace for our project. Think of it like you're building a house. You got to pour that concrete slab foundation before you even think about putting up walls. It's got to be stable, isolated, and organized.
And the very first, most critical piece of that foundation is creating a virtual environment. The best way to think about it is like a self-contained bubble just for our project. Any libraries or code packages we install, they only live inside this bubble. This means they can't mess with any other Python projects you might have on your computer. It's an absolute must-do.
And getting this set up, it's really just a few simple commands. First, we'll make our main project folder. Then, right inside it, we create our virtual environment. We'll just call it VNV to keep it simple. Then, and this is the important part, we activate it. You'll know it's working when you see that little VNV pop up next to your command prompt. You're in the bubble. And finally, we create our two main folders.
Now, why two folders? This is all about keeping things clean. The Notebooks folder, that's your playground, your lab. It's where you're going to mess around, try new things, test little bits of code. But when you're ready to build a real, complete, working application, that code belongs in the Apps folder. This keeps all your messy experiments separate from your finished, polished projects. All right, next up, we're making two super important files. We'll create an empty .env file. This is where all our secrets are going to live. And we'll also create a requirements.txt file, which is basically going to be the shopping list for all the Python libraries our project depends on. Okay, let's zoom in on that .env file for a sec, because this is huge for security. You never, ever, ever want to paste your secret API keys right into your code. No way. Instead, you store them here, in this file, which you make sure to keep private and out of your public code repositories. This is how you keep your credentials safe. Okay, our foundation is built, it's solid. Now it's time to get the keys to the kingdom. We need a way to actually talk to all these powerful AI models from all the different companies. And we're going to gather keys from 5 of the most important platforms out there. We'll get access to OpenAI's famous GPT models, Google's Gemini models, and Anthropic's Claude models. Then, we'll also tap into Groq for something really special: speed. And of course, we need access to Hugging Face for their incredible collection of tools and models.
And this is a really important distinction to understand. OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, they're the ones who actually create the AI models. They build the brains, so to speak. Groq is different. They're a hardware provider. They've built these custom chips called LPUs, or language processing units, that can run other AI models at just mind-blowing speeds. We need their key to unlock that speed.
So why get all 5? Why not just pick one? Because having all these keys makes our Launchpad incredibly flexible. We're not locked into just one company. We can mix and match. We can pick the smartest model for one task, the fastest for another, or the cheapest for something else. It gives us options.
So the actual process is pretty straightforward. You're just going to log into each of these 5 websites, find their API section, and generate a new key or a token. Then you'll take each of those secret keys one by one and copy and paste them right into that .env file we made a few minutes ago.
All right, let's talk about the practical stuff. Let's talk about money. It's a fair question, right? But the good news here is that getting started is actually really, really affordable.
So companies like Google, Groq, and Hugging Face, they have awesome free tiers that are more than enough to get you started in learning. But to unlock the full potential of the really powerful commercial models from OpenAI and Anthropic, you do need to buy a small amount of credits up front.
And how much are we talking? Just $5.
Seriously, that's the minimum you need to put on your account for OpenAI to get started, and it's the same for Anthropic.
So, for a grand total of about $10, you get full unlocked access to this entire powerful suite of AI models that we've been talking about. That's it. It's not a subscription, there are no hidden fees. It's just that initial $10.
And that's really the best way to look at this. It's not another monthly bill, it's a small, one-time investment in your own education. You're funding your own learning and building some seriously valuable skills with the latest tech. It's an investment in you.
And just like that, we're done with the setup. Let's just take a second and look at what we've built here. It's a powerful, professional foundation that's ready for anything.
So check it out. We now have a secure spot for our secret keys. We have an isolated Python environment, so nothing breaks. We've got an organized folder structure for both experiments and final apps. We have a clean way to track all of our project's needs. And, most importantly, we have the keys to unlock 5 of the most powerful AI platforms on the planet.
And that's really the whole point of doing all this. All that boring but totally necessary setup work is done. The foundation is rock solid. And that frees you up to put 100% of your brainpower on the really fun part, being creative and actually building something awesome.
So, your Launchpad is officially ready for liftoff. You've got the structure, you've got the keys, you've got access to some incredible power. So, the only question left, and it's the most exciting one, is what are you going to build first?